Hello and welcome to the 4th edition of Transformers ToyCast, brought to you by the GeekCast Radio Network. I am TFG1 Mike, and I'm joined by Optimus. Hello.
Hello, everybody.
Are you okay over there?
I have a really bad cough. I have some bronchitis or something going on. I've been sinus infections from all the... We've had rain for like 2 straight weeks and pollen everywhere, and I have a really severe congested head cold. It sounds okay right now. That's because I just took some NyQuil, like a little sip, just to kind of coat my throat.
Yeah.
And I'm going to have a cough drop. But yeah, unfortunately, I know it sucks on a podcast, but if you do hear a cough, I do apologize. Maybe we could try to edit some of that out if we can later on. But I'm a little bit under the weather. But anyways, we are going to bring you a good show today.
Yes, we are. And for everybody that has been emailing me in, that had emailed contest entries, everybody's been emailing me back saying, did I win, did I win, did I win? And I keep telling them that it's going to be announced in this episode. And we're going to do that right now. And I would just like to mention that because I think I have 6 entries in here, and because everybody pretty much gave me roundabout right answers, I'm just going to do a random draw, and whoever's name I draw out, I will send them an email saying, "Hey, you won. Send me your address, and I'll mail out the 25th anniversary Season 1 Transformers G1 Shout Factory DVD set." The question was, can you give us the names of the U.S. cartoon voice actors from who played Optimus Prime, also who played him in video games? The answers I was going for were, for the cartoons, I was going for Peter Cullen, Gary Chalk, Neil Kaplan, even though I hate him, and David Kaye. For the video games, I was looking for Cullen, Kaye, and Chalk. So I'm going to shake up my little cup here. Don't know if that's going to come through on the mic. And I'm going to do a little drum roll. Let's see if I can find the drum roll thing. And I'm reaching in here, and the name I am picking out is Nathan C. So Nathan C., you have won. I will send you an email after we're done recording this episode, and I will ship this out to you probably tomorrow when this episode airs, Thursday, July 2nd. So congratulations to Nathan C. And look for another contest maybe later on this month or maybe in August. I'm not sure exactly when we're going to do another one. So, yeah, I guess we're going to get...
I do have something for a contest. I think we should do it like maybe once a month or every other month. It's, as things go, it's not going to be set in stone, I don't think, but you just keep tuned to ToyCast and keep your eyes and ears open.
Oh, yeah. The contest thing was just a whim, like I said in the last episode. I was impulse buying at Target. I went to Target beginning of last month, and I saw, it was actually 2 weeks ago. Went to Target 2 weeks ago because I knew that the Tom and Jerry Chuck Jones collection was going to be out on DVD. It's a 2-disc collection encompassing 34 cartoons that Chuck Jones did of Tom and Jerry. And the last time that I had gone to Target before this, they did not have the 25th anniversary set. So when I went this time, they had it, so I said, screw it, and I'll get it anyway. And I only got it to watch the special features. As I said in the last episode, it is open. I've only watched it once. Everything that came with it is still with it. And it'll be shipped out tomorrow to Nathan C. As far as contests go, whenever we can. It doesn't really matter when. There is no set. We're not going to do every month contest. We're not going to do every other month contest. It's basically whenever one of us gets something that we already may have a duplicate of, or something like that, we can give it away as a contest.
And I'd also like to say to our listeners, if you have something you may not need and would like to donate to a prize that's worthwhile, feel free to email us and give us that email again.
It is tftoycast@gmail.com.
And we will give you a shout-out on the podcast.
Yes, we will. So I guess we're going to go into our picks today. This is actually going to be an all Bumblebee episode. This episode was originally slated to be a BotCon episode where we each would talk about a BotCon toy. But since a couple of our other co-hosts could not make it, Mr. Optimus Scourge and I are just going to talk about two of our favorite Bumblebee characters. What's yours that you're going to be talking about?
I'm going to be talking about a Human Alliance Bumblebee who I was lucky enough to find at retail. I had one from HTS, and I kept it in the box for a little bit, and then I very much the same day, if not the next day maybe, I don't remember exactly, as if you've been listening, you know I've been selling my G1 collection and, for my paying for lawyers' fees for things going on in my life right now. But anyways, back on topic. I found him at Toys R Us, so I am going to do the modification that P.O. did, removing the hand and giving him a hand on his other side and flipping the thumb. Mm-hmm. I've already got the one off of that, and that one without the hand is going to stay in alt mode with my alternators because Ultimate Bumblebee is in perfect scale with the alts, and we'll get more into that later. But that is my pick this week. It is Human Alliance Bumblebee that comes with a little Sam Witwicky figure.
Oh, does it? I was going to ask you about that because I wasn't sure. I mean, I've heard of Human Alliance Sideswipe and Human Alliance Ironhide, and I've heard of Human Alliance Bumblebee, but I haven't heard too much about him. So that's pretty cool that they all come with their human movie counterparts. What is, for someone who doesn't get the pre-release toys, what the hell is HTS?
Hasbro Toy Shop.
Oh, okay. Everybody says HTS. I'm like, why don't they just say what the heck it is? Because I thought it was some foreign company.
No, actually, HTS, a long time ago when they started, they were terrible.
Yeah.
They were messing up orders, but honestly, in the past 2 years, I've ordered from them, and you basically get it for retail. You don't have to waste gas looking, and I've gone out toy hunting, and let me tell you, in 2 days you can go through half a tank of gas. That's $25 probably in some cars, so that's a lot of money. You could have bought it off eBay for that price. So I know some people don't like to deal with it. They want it now from BBTS or whatever, but if you're patient and you have time and you can find it in stock at BBTS, I mean, at HTS, BBTS is great too. I do a lot of business with them on stuff that Hasbro does not carry or when they're out of stock. So, but yeah, BBTS, Big Bad Toy Store, TF Source, and HTS Hasbro Toy Shop, as for the acronym, are my main sources of Transformers that I can't find at retail.
Oh, okay.
So I got him for cost, and then with the greatest thing about HTS is there is almost always a coupon going on for either free shipping or 10 or 20% off. There's always something there, and there's no minimum. You can order a Scout and you get free shipping, and you pay retail. And you never have to leave the house. They don't send it, anyway where you have to sign for it. They'll just drop it off to you. I've had one problem, and they took care of it. They said, keep the toy. We will send you another one. Don't worry about sending it back. It was like a deluxe. Now, I'm sure if I had a problem with, like, say, an Ultimate Bumblebee, that they wouldn't, do that without saying send it back, because they're going to use that voice box that's in there.
Oh, yeah.
If there's something wrong, that's a big difference. And to their credit, they offered to do that, and they send you basically a sticker that you just put your toy back in the box it came in, and put the sticker label for postage.
Right.
And you can go online and order carrier pickup and have your mailman pick it up. You don't even have to go to the post office anymore these days. Oh, so that's one of the greatest things about it. Anyway.
Yeah, I mean, that's really cool. I'm the type of person that I don't want to wait. That's why, like, with everything that I've bought, since I stopped actually buying them, but I mean, like, with everything current, like with the TFA line, I didn't want to have to wait for shipping. I'm the type of person that I want it now. And that's why I usually end up paying for overnight shipping for whatever, DVDs, books, whatever. Yeah, so that, I mean Walmart and Target are right up the street from me, so it's really no big deal. And I've looked on BBTS, and I'm not trying to slam them, but I don't know, it just doesn't appeal to me, I guess. But hey, I mean, if it's that easy for everybody else, that's cool. So which mode do you like better on Human Alliance Bumblebee? Do you have a favorite?
I gotta say, I like them both.
Do you?
And usually I love alt modes that are cars.
Mm-hmm.
So naturally, Bumblebee is a Camaro. I've had almost every generation style of body style of Camaro. I've had the 70s, early 80s style. I've had the 80s IROC Camaro. I've had the 90s Z28 SS Camaro. And the only one I haven't had is like the 67, 68, and 69 version of the Camaro, which I love, but they're just way too expensive in good condition, and they're really not good for daily drivers. Those are better suited for show. If I ever got one of those, I wouldn't be driving it around town, just, commuting or whatever, or going to work.
Oh, yeah.
The new Camaro coming out, I have seen it in person. I drove by the dealership and I said, "Oh my God!" My kids were in the car. I said, "Oh my God! Look, it's Cliff Jumper." It was a red Bumblebee. Now, obviously, Cliff Jumper was not the same in G1. He was a different car.
Yeah.
He was not a Volkswagen. But almost every continuation of toys after that has had a red repaint. Classics has, the movie line had Cliff Jumper as the red Camaro concept car. So his alt mode is perfectly in scale with alternators. So he looks great on your alternator shelf. And what I like about him, a lot of the movie toys, people who don't like movie toys will tell you that they don't like it because you can see all the gears and moving parts. Now, Human Alliance Bumblebee, who comes with a little Sam Witwicky figure, he's a lot more blocky and chunky. In that, I mean, he seems like he's more classic Bumblebee. Now, he looks totally like the movie, but his legs, the way they work, they're completely different than, like, say, the Deluxe. They look nothing like that. The back of the car and his legs, like the tail lights are on his shins. So it looks like a regular blocky type Transformer, which a lot of guys, really like. I like that. I do like some of the movie aesthetic, but not all of it. But this toy, this Bumblebee, does not have that movie aesthetic where it has the automorph or it has, the mech alive. There's none of that involved. It's more of just a fun Transformer, and you get a little Sam Witwicky figure, which is about 2 inches tall, a lot shorter than a G.I. Joe, a lot smaller, but he's got ball joints in his hips, his legs and his knees bend. He can sit, obviously, in Bumblebee. He can ride on Bumblebee's arm. He can stand behind Bumblebee and fire a little cannon.
Cool.
There's another seat on his other arm with like little rocket shooters. He can sit in there, and it's all based on a peg in his back. There's so many places you can peg him in, and it's just a really, really cool toy. And he's expensive. He's $34.99.
Wow.
But for what you get, you're not going to regret it. You're like, oh my God, that's too much money. I almost didn't want to get it. Once I got one in hand, I actually waited till I saw Pia's review of it, and I said, okay, I definitely have to have that, because I have so many concept Camaro Bumblebees, because he's my favorite character. I have a couple of customs that I made, that I did the dry brush with the weathering and make him look like he's metal, stuff like that. I got the premium version for the mask. I got the Cliff Jumper. I didn't get the Stealth Bumblebee, even though I collect the Black Primes, and that's kind of my thing. I didn't get that one, but I love Camaros, so that's part of my decision. And the playability of this toy, I'm usually the type who will transform and display. If it's a good toy, I'll fiddle with it for a day or two, and then it's gone onto the shelf, not to be taken down unless it needs a picture shot with something else or a comparison. So
yeah, I'm the same way now as well. I very rarely play with mine at all anymore.
Yeah, but this guy really, just the chunkiness, the solid feel. You never feel like you're going to break him. His arms are really solid, ratcheting joints. He just feels like he was. I want to say he feels like he was built back in the old days when they knew how to build them tough. It's not a soft rubbery plastic. It's not a cheap plastic. It's thick. It's sturdy. A kid could play with it, drop it, bang it. It could take some abuse. My only gripe with the toy is his chest. when you have to angle in the two sides of the front of his car mode, his two headlights to the middle, when you angle them up, sometimes they have a tendency to pop back in while you're handling him because they're spring loaded. Once you get them in place for display, they'll stay right there. And if you're going to play with him, you might as well just keep the little V that they make flat. And you can also use that as an option to display it with alternators and make it look more G1-esque with just the regular car as the chest. Even though it's movie Bumblebee, if you popped a new head on this, it could be alternator Bumblebee.
That's very, very cool. I'm actually sitting here while you're talking about this, playing with my robot version of Elite Guard, because I'm trying to get him just right to be able to talk about him. So, did I already ask you if you have a preferred mode?
I actually bought 2 of these. Like I said, you did ask me my preferred.
Okay.
My preferred mode, I would have to say, would be robot mode because of the seats, because of the options with Sam, and because of the look and the blockiness of it. I don't hate movie toys. I collect a few of the movie toys, mostly just the Autobots. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to collect the Devastator parts. I did get a couple of them, but I've sold them. Not that they're not cool, but I just can't afford to collect them. So if it's going to be one, I'll just collect the Autobots. And right now, the only thing on my list is Jolt the Volt, who was a last-minute addition to the movie, who's going to probably not be coming out for a while because he was so last-minute.
Yeah.
And he was the only scene where you saw him, besides driving with the audience, which can be copied and pasted in very easily. With the little car going down the road, just put him in with the Autobots. They didn't have to refilm that. His one big moment was when Jetfire gave up his spark to Optimus when he had gotten taken down in the battle at the end of the movie, and Ratchet said, "Jolt, electrify these parts," because the thrusters on Jetfire were broken because he was so old.
Oh yeah.
So they basically restored it with Jolt's electro disruptor, or whatever you want to call it, electrifier. Mm-hmm. He has like lightning coming out of his hands, and then they kind of basically him and Ratchet using, I'm assuming, some kind of EMP or something, much like he did in Animated. He could move things.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And they kind of threw it at Optimus, and Optimus just kind of absorbed it all.
Yeah, that's very, very cool. Do you have anything else to say about him? Oh, the Sam toy, or the figure, does it resemble Shia at all, or is it?
Oh yeah, yeah, it's very good. Matter of fact, I have him on my desk. He's got blue jeans, a black shirt. He has ball joints. He has swivel joints that can go up and down, and he can round 360 on his arms. He has no elbows. His wrists can't turn, but that's okay. His head obviously rotates 360. Now his hips and his legs are on double jointed ball joints. It's actually not a ball joint, but it's some kind of, it rotates back and forth 360 on each leg, and then it can go forward and backwards, so you can get pretty much any pose out of this guy. He can fit in him in robot mode. There is an interior in this car, which is another big thing for me. I love alternators and the alternator line, and I have been desperately awaiting this figure, and he fits in so well with the alts. Not that I don't really use my alternators anymore. I have them in the Detolf IKEA shelves right now, mm-hmm. And this Bumblebee, even though he's a movie toy, with the head, yeah, I might want to see if I get a different head, more G1. He'd be perfect for alternators, but the figure itself is so cool. He's got a peg in his back. Bumblebee has 2 seats on each of his arms that he can peg into. He can also stand behind him. I believe I said that before, but yeah, for a figure that is only, I'm going to say he's about 2.5 to 3 inches tall. He's not even as tall as a cigarette lighter. He's like an inch shorter than a cigarette lighter.
Oh, wow.
He's small. He's small enough to fit in an alternator, if you can picture that.
Yeah.
Or if you don't have an alternator and you don't know what that is, it's 1/24th scale, like model kits, like almost all the models that you see in a model shop. It's that size. So and the figure adds so much more play value, and I can already see the stop motions coming out on YouTube with this character and Sam. It's great. Absolutely great. It's a little bit overpriced, but for what you get out of it, and I can only imagine the level of engineering that went into this. So if you see it, don't pass it up, because when you go back tomorrow deciding you want it,
it won't be there.
It's not going to be there.
Yeah.
These things, they seem to only put out 2 at a time or something, because I grabbed one and I went back in to grab the other one thinking someone on the boards must need him. I'll get him for cost plus shipping. He was already gone within 2 minutes of them putting them out. So
wow.
He is flying off the shelves. People are saying they haven't seen him yet. Just because you haven't seen him does not mean he's not out. So just so you know, he is out. I have not seen him anywhere else but Toys R Us.
Ooh, yeah. I think
Toys R Us is cycling through a lot of Transformer merchandise. I went there a couple of days ago, and they had, I had to say about 15 Primes and, 30 Megatrons.
Wow.
And I went there after, I went there Saturday. Mm-hmm. And I think I got Ultimate. I call him Ultimate Bumblebee because he's better than Ultimate Bumblebee. I went there. I forgot. I lost my train of thought. What was I going to say?
You were going to Toys R Us to look for.
Oh yeah.
The
they were after opening weekend, Thursday and Friday night. I went in there Saturday morning to see if they had another one of these, because I want one for both modes.
Yeah.
I want one to have kind of on my desk. He's such a great figure. I am not someone who buys 2 of anything unless it's really cool or I want to keep one sealed. Yeah. And it's something that's not too expensive, but I want one for the alt shelf. I do have one shelf of the variant figures, the vinyl text that weren't made over here.
Right.
I have one shelf of that, and they're all in car mode. I never transformed those ones. So he's not going to have a hand anyway, because I'm going to be putting the hand on the other one where his cannon is, and his cannon flips back, and you can just install the hand. It does require a little bit of work. You got to cut off a little bit of a material with a Dremel, and it's really. And then, of course, if you want to use the cannon or put him back into car mode, you have to take his hand off. But it is parts forming, and it's not, because of the interior. There is a passenger seat as well that you can put that hand in the passenger seat when he's in alt mode. But I definitely want one for alt mode for my alt shelf, which I'm just not going to touch because he's going to be missing a hand, which I don't care because he's in his alt mode.
Yeah. And
then I have my regular version, obviously, with 2 hands, soon to be, as soon as I watch Pia's video about that, how to modify it. I got the hand off and taken apart, and I know what I have to Dremel off very carefully, but I need to figure out how to get the hand in there, because right now the hole is too big to fit the peg. So I don't know if I have to beef it up with some super glue or some nail polish or what exactly I have to do. But I know he has a video on YouTube.
Yeah.
He always has a video on YouTube of whatever he does. He does a lot of customizing, and he's come up with some great ideas on his own.
Oh.
And he was running late today. He was going to be on this one, but hopefully he can make the next one.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we'll definitely have Pio back on. Actually, I think that's probably what the main show is going to be, is the 3 of us, me, you, and him. And I've got 2 other guys. My co-host over on TFG1 podcast, Michael Wilson, he has a huge, huge collection, so I'm going to have him on at some point. I'm not sure when. We got to figure out the schedule on that. But anyway, how would you rate Human Alliance Bumblebee on a scale of 1 to 10?
On a scale of 1 to 10, I would give him a 9. The 9 only because the missiles,
Mm-hmm.
they're not projectile missiles. They just kind of clamp on to these little tabs on his forearms that can bend out of the way. And if you're playing with him, they just pop off. So it's almost, if he's not on a shelf and you're messing with him, put the missiles in your pocket. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because he pops off the missiles, but that is a very, very minute, small thing. It's hardly even a complaint.
Yeah.
If they had projectile missiles, the way this toy is designed and handled, you would be shooting the missiles. So it's actually better that they do pop off and just drop right in front of you. So that's my only gripe. I mean, he is so well executed, looks just like he does in the movie with the exception of his legs, which look a little bit more G1-esque, but he is extremely posable. Like I said, Sam can fit almost anywhere on him, on his arms. There's little seats on his arms with a peg that goes into his back. He can stand behind him in robot mode, and there's a little gun that flips up over Bumblebee's head, and he can pretend to be shooting that.
Oh, cool.
And also the head has a flip-down battle mask, just like Ultimate Bumblebee does.
Right.
So, yeah, it really surprised me. I knew it was going to be a good toy after seeing the review, but you have no idea until you get your hands on it. Now, my only downfall with this toy is that it cost at retail, Toys R Us, $34.99.
Yeah, that's where I've seen it everywhere else as well, because I've seen it online.
That's what it is at HDS. It's regular retail.
Now, I don't remember if I've already asked you, and if I have, I'm sorry. I've been podcasting my butt off this week. What size class is he?
I would say you would have to call him a Voyager.
Okay.
But
That's cool.
he's bigger than that. He's between a he's an alternator.
Okay.
Whatever, he's 1/24th scale.
Okay.
So he doesn't really fit in. Now, when you put, one thing I will say, what's great about the shelf is when you have Bumblebee in this mode, he is more to scale with Prime and Skids and Mudflap and those guys in this mode because he's about 8 inches tall.
Oh.
And so when you have a deluxe that's only 6 inches or 5 inches tall, they all look like they're the same size. And we all know that Skids and Mudflap are much smaller. So if I'm not huge on scale, but when it happens and it happens right and it's well executed, as this was, then you can tell that they really put a lot of their heart and soul into this figure. And that said, I cannot wait to see Human Alliance Sideswipe.
Cool. All right, and with that, I think we're going to take a little break, and we're going to come back, and I'm going to talk about TFA, or Transformers Animated Elite Guard Bumblebee. So we'll be right back. Right, we're back, and I'm going to be talking about Transformers Animated Elite Guard Bumblebee. Just to talk about the show, even though it's gone a little bit, I didn't really like Bumblebee that much, and when I saw the original deluxe toy, I didn't like it at all. I've seen several very good YouTube reviews about the original yellow toy, and I could not stand it. And then one day in Walmart, I was just looking through the toy aisle, and I saw on the shelf Elite Guard Bumblebee. I'm like, what's this? And I'm like, holy crap, what is this? It's kind of like Spike's moment in the animated movie.
Hooray! We've done it! Way to go! Look! It isn't even dented! Oh, shit! What are we gonna do now?
Yeah, it's kind of like that. And, it's the only Bumblebee clip I had, so I had to put it in there.
Shit!
Oh, shit! We're being sucked into it!
Sucked into the podcast.
Yeah, exactly. Hopefully. I really love the car mode on him. I love the black and gold coloring. He actually reminds me of when Bumblebee got turned into Goldbug in The Return of Optimus Prime.
I gotta say, I hated Goldbug, and having seen Dan Gilvezan 2 times, he hated playing Goldbug. He hated being Goldbug. He wished they had kept the bee.
I
Now,
know.
of course, Bumblebee had been out for 3 years. They had to make a new toy. Everybody already had that, so
Oh, I know.
we know why they did it. But they they still could have done something different, you know.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know. Maybe make a better Volkswagen. I don't know.
Well, I don't know either, but that's what this reminded me of because obviously we have the original TFA Bumblebee toy, the yellow toy, and then when I first saw this, I'm like I said a second ago, oh, what's this? And he on the top of his car mode, he's all black. He has blue, I guess you could call it translucent windows, and on the bottom of him, he has gold around the trim. He has the white Elite Guard symbol, and he has yellow rims on the inside of his black wheels. He does have a little white or gray or silver for the headlights, and of course red brake lights on the back. The siren is black, which kind of weirded me out at first, but I still like it because I think it makes him blend in. I think it makes him more of a shadow figure than anything else. And I actually like his boosters better with this toy than I did with the original one. The original ones I think were silver with blue tips, and these ones are blue with gold tips.
Yep, they're very nice. I have it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree. I will say the color scheme alone, I mean, if he was that color on the show, I wouldn't even have minded. I have the deluxe Bumblebee.
Mm-hmm.
I'm waiting for the new one, the Hydrodrive Bumblebee.
Yes.
I'm really waiting for that because I got Bumblebee as a pre-release way back when I was still doing that thing. I don't buy pre-release toys anymore, haven't for almost 2 years now, but back then Animated had been on for like months and we weren't getting toys for 4 months. So you're watching this movie and you're dying for the toys, so you finally break down and you buy a 1 penny auction for $20 shipping and you get a Bumblebee.
Yeah.
I mean, big deal, you paid $20.
Yeah.
So, but however, that said, I don't really condone that kind of thing anymore. I know Hasbro's against it. I'm not against anyone who does it. I know, there's friends of mine who do it, and it's to get the YouTube ratings and feedback and, the partnership accounts with that. And also the people who do it give us a first look on whether or not I'd like it or not. And not only that, I know that if I have a problem with, say, Human Alliance Bumblebee, I can't seem to get his legs to come down right. What's going on? I can go onto YouTube and find Pia or any other great reviewers. I'm sorry, but I can't mention all of them. You have Sean Long, D Banks. There's a lot of guys that do videos. I do videos myself, not quite as often, but retail videos. I call them retail review. You can always go to a video review and watch the transformation, and that has helped so many people. And there's guys out there, D-Banks, he's the guy that does the opposite, because when you buy these toys from China, for example, Jetfire, when Pia got his, it came in the SR-71 mode,
Mm-hmm.
and he had to put it into robot mode. Now he's packaged in robot mode, and you have instructions to go from that to a jet or from robot to combine mode.
Uh-huh.
So I just found it's a lot easier to go from robot, which I got my pictures in robot mode. Mm-hmm. He's actually in robot mode right now over there on the bookcase. I hate to say this, but I've been so busy selling my collection and running errands and getting supplies that I have not transformed him. But he is such a cool character, even in his alt mode with his cane.
Oh, yeah.
That he's cool looking. And I will get to fiddling with him tomorrow.
Yeah. On Elite Guard Bumblebee, the only thing, as far as the car mode, there is the blue translucent windshield on the front. If you angle it right in the light, you can see some sort of gears or maybe seats, but you really can't see it because it's so dark.
I never noticed anything.
I mean, I can see some stuff. Maybe I'm just hallucinating. Maybe it's the actual kibble of the inside of the robot.
Because he just folds up his arms and legs up inside.
Yeah. So I could be reading more into it, but I actually like the car mode the best. As far as the robot mode, I actually had to search out YouTube to actually find instructions on him because I couldn't transform him at first. it wasn't. I mean, I don't know. I like the robot mode. It took me forever to be able to get the boosters back on the windshield after I took them off. And I don't know.
The windshield? You mean the back of the car?
Yeah. Yeah.
They go on the rear quarter panel of the car.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Okay. I didn't know what you were talking about.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
Thought I might have missed something.
No. Only thing I wish that in his robot mode on his chest, I wish it was the red Elite Guard symbol. I like the white symbol on the doors, but I wish it was the red on the chest. I think that.
Well, there's a reason for that.
What's that?
He never made the Elite Guard.
Oh yeah, that's true.
It was just basically a fan-made repaint.
Yeah,
based on the flashback when he was in the Elite Guard, but the Elite Guard cadets, did not have the symbol. Oh, that's why it's not on his chest. That's why it's only on his car mode. It's just something for the fans.
Yeah.
And a fan like you, who happens to love it. Now, if you ask me, I like Bumblebee. And yes, he's yellow, but Elite Guard Bumblebee is a great repaint. I mean, I usually don't care for too many repaints unless they got a good character that suits it or a new head mold that's workable. I did not buy any of the Voyager Classics repaints from Cybertron. I don't really consider them classics. I'm trying to think if I did get any at all. And I didn't get Blades. I got Springer.
Oh, don't even get me. Let's just go on past that. Because as soon as I hear Springer's name, I end up venting and cursing and stuff, so that's not good. I don't like Springer at all, regardless of whether it's a toy or the cartoon character.
Well, then don't even bother to bring it up. Just don't say it.
Yeah. The only difference between other than the color scheme, as far as the head on Elite Guard Bumblebee, it's the same. It's the same head as the original deluxe, the yellow deluxe version, but in this one, his head is black, and I actually like this head a lot better. What I was saying was the only difference between this and the original version of the TFA toy is his head is black in this one, and I like this one.
I just had a thought. You know about the Wasp repaint, right?
Yes.
What do you think it would look like with that head on in that body?
The black head on the green body?
Yeah.
No.
I mean, if you can't customize yourself, I mean, you could,
right.
pop one off.
Yeah. I mean, I think actually it's funny. The packaging is wrong. I don't have the packaging anymore for Elite Guard Bumblebee. When I first got him, I got so pissed after I got him the first time. After I got the first one, because it shows on the back of the packaging. Never
believe that. Never believe the back of the packaging.
I know.
Go to a website and look at a gallery before you buy a toy.
I know, and that's why I kept asking everybody before I went out and bought him. I said, can people send me pictures of him so I can see what he looks like? Because the back of the packaging shows him with the original yellow head. What I think is going to be really cool whenever the Wasp repaint comes out, if they did a green head with purple eyes. I think that would be so cool. And I would want that.
Yeah, they're not. It's a straight up repaint. It's going to be a green head
with blue eyes.
Yeah.
Well, see, I don't see. Okay, I can see them doing a straight up repaint.
Somebody is going to make the add-on kit to put the little mask. The way Hasbro explained it at BotCon was that it was before he pushed the button to turn himself just into Bumblebee.
Oh, okay.
As a clone.
But I mean, if you're gonna do a repaint of, especially of that toy, especially, I don't know. I don't see how hard it would be to before you actually make the head mold, to actually take a purple paintbrush and paint the eyes purple. I don't see how, as far as production, I don't see how that would hinder anything. And just looking at the robot, I'm actually holding him up to the light. The eyes are translucent, and if you hold it up to the light, they do glow a little bit, and I do love that. I actually prefer him in car mode. If you're the type of collector, or if you're the type of Transformers toy fan that just wants show-accurate stuff, this isn't a toy for you. But if you're looking for like a cool repaint or a cool Bumblebee, I would highly recommend Transformers Animated Elite Guard Deluxe Elite Guard Bumblebee. He is just super cool. He is one of my favorite figures. Actually, my Elite Guard consists of him, Jazz, Blur, and Leader Class Magnus.
Okay, just to interject you, you asked me before about scale. Mm-hmm. I would rate Bumblebee as an ultra scale.
As an ultra scale?
Because he's about as tall as Onslaught, maybe a head shorter.
Are you
if that, it's size-wise. Because he's not a deluxe, and he's not a Voyager. He's bigger than a Voyager, so they're like Silverbolt.
Oh, okay.
He's not as bulky that way, of course. Obviously, his Kipple hides up very well, but as far as how tall he is, he's as tall as say, Silverbolt is.
Oh, okay. That's cool. Overall, I would rate Bumblebee a 9 out of 10, just because there are just certain things that... The legs on mine, I don't know if it's the way that I transformed them. I mean, I did everything that the instructions told me to do. Even though I hate Hasbro's instructions, I actually watched about 3 different YouTube reviews to try to get the transformation right into roll-up mode. It took me a while to figure out that I had to flip the back panels on the legs, the car parts that actually pop off every now and then.
Yep.
When you're trying to transform him, I finally figured out that you have to rotate those down. So, yeah, overall I'd give him a 9 out of 10. It's really cool. If you're looking for a good Bumblebee toy, that's alright, stuff happens. 9 out of 10, if you're looking for a good Bumblebee toy, go ahead and get him. I think at Walmart he was
You could still find him, yeah.
Yeah, you're going to have to go to probably BBTS or Hasbro Toy Shop or something like that now, because...
I believe Hasbro Toy Shop has them in stock, and look around... There is a thread on TFW called the Sales, Deals, and Coupons thread. Just click last page. If you don't see any codes, go back a page. Start from the back to the beginning toward, it's a huge thread.
Yeah.
And, of course, if you start at the beginning, those codes are all out of date. But, it'll be something like Spring 09 or TF07, you know what I mean? Or Movie 123. There's some kind of code almost always to get you a deal. Unfortunately, Ultimate Bumblebee is sold out from HTS, but as we know, and I know people want their toys and they want them now on the same way, but just have a little patience. It's worth waiting for. When you get him, you will be glad to have him. I mean, some people will go to eBay and get them, whatever, and that's their right. I mean, I've been there myself. I used to be the type of guy that had to have it now and had to change my ways because of not having the money to have it right now.
That's the same way I am.
Yep.
So overall, Elite Guard Bumblebee and Human Alliance Bumblebee are figures everyone should go get. I really don't have that much else to say about Elite Guard Bumblebee. He's a really cool toy. I love having him. I will never, ever get the Sentinel Prime toy to have a true Elite Guard set, because I don't. Sentinel Prime has been ejected from the Elite Guard in my eyes.
Sentinel Prime is a good place to store the Headmaster that came with Bulkhead. That is how he is displayed on my shelf.
I was so hoping, before Animated ended, I was so hoping that Optimus would just take that axe and just slice his chin in half. Oh, anyways.
That's not like Optimus, though. Although movie Optimus, man, movie Optimus don't fuck around.
I know. Yeah.
Go.
All right. So yeah, it's It's I'm just trying to think. Overall, both toys that we've talked about today are probably must-buys for Transformers fans. Um, there really is. I don't have that much else to say about them.
I would say about this guy is obviously Leader Prime is going to be number one on your list.
Mhm.
If you're running on a budget, I know it's an expensive toy, but you'll be very happy you got it instead of a couple of deluxes that you kind of forget about after a couple days and leave them on a shelf. This guy has a lot of play value. He looks great in robot mode. It comes with the Sam figure.
Mhm.
That gives so many opportunities for poses. You can recreate scenes. Like I said, stop motion is huge on YouTube.
Oh.
And when this podcast is over, I'm going to see if there is any Bumblebee stop motion because he really lends himself to that. He's easy to transform. He doesn't have any automorph for Mecha Live or electronics. He's really bulky, and he's got a figure with him, which is, I believe, since Pretenders, you've never had a figure
With a toy,
come
yeah.
with a toy that was actually, part of the lore of Transformers, and obviously Sam being in the main role there, obviously
Right.
it is that. And now I don't recall who Sideswipe is coming with. I heard it was Michaela, but I can't confirm that. I'd have to check.
I thought it was Epps.
Yes, you're right. That's who it is. It is Epps. But perhaps there will be an RC with, alternator scale RC without a crooked spine with Michaela or something, or even a wheelie that is 1-to-1 scale as a remote control car that comes with Michaela or something like that, or a bigger one. I'd love to see Wheelie as a remote control. I know we discussed it before, but and that would be great. I know a lot of people would buy that.
Yeah. Like I said before, I'm not a movie toy fan, so I really don't have any comments on it other than the information I already know. Like I said, I heard that Epps was coming with him. I do like some of the movie toys alt modes, but just the robot modes, like I've said before, just seeing the inner workings, it's just
well.
not.
That's the thing about Ultimate. I'm gonna call him Ultimate Bumblebee. Ultimate Bumblebee does not look like that. He looks like a Cybertron toy.
Right.
He looks like an alternator. He's blocky and chunky. I think you'd really like him. He does not fit the movie aesthetic that much. I mean, his face and the mask do.
Yeah.
Overall, he's very blocky, very solid, very durable. Has regular feet, no claws, no insane amount of gears or mech. He's just, not that there's anything wrong with that, but I think he looks much better, nice and clean, and he's just a great toy. I can't say enough about him. I mean, if you see this guy and you have the money on you, get him. I mean, God forbid if you don't like him, return him, whatever. But this guy is just incredible, and he really is worth the money of $34.99. And don't worry about it if everyone is sold out. Hasbro knows what they have with this toy. They know that they can sell 1 million of these, so there's gonna be more, and we still have a year to ride this wave of toys. I mean, they're gonna keep making them as long as people are buying them. And I've been noticing lately now that everyone's seen the movie, like you can't find a Leader Prime anywhere around here. You have to drive a half an hour away to a Toys R Us that only has a few.
Yeah, see, I'm not the type of person, like I went into Target the other day, like I said, to go find those DVDs, and I just cruised by the toy aisle just because I just want to look. There isn't really anything out right now that I want to buy, even if I had the money to buy it. And I think we're going to do this eventually, probably on ToyCast as an episode, the actual pricing and size classing over the years throughout the entire Transformers history. Which will be a good discussion for us, seeing as how this is obviously a podcast about the toys.
Basically, that's just inflation and costs.
Well, yeah, I know, but
it's based on the oil barrel prices that plastic is made from.
Yeah.
Based on supply and demand.
Yeah.
It's very simple.
Yeah. Well, what I was going to say was, I cruised by the toy aisle, and because it's all Revenge of the Fallen stuff now, I only looked at the deluxes. The stuff that's, like, at the top of the shelf as far as, like, what's on the pegs and stuff. I didn't even look at the bottom to see if there was any leader stuff or Voyager stuff. So I don't even know if Target even had a leader prom when I was there a couple weeks ago.
I ended up returning my leader Megatron. I didn't like him very much.
Yeah. Everyone likes the Voyager better.
Yeah, I do like the Voyager better. I might sell off the Voyager myself, though. I'm just thinking about collecting the Autobots. Maybe a couple Decepticons.
Yeah,
I like the Autobot team, man. I mean, I'm a sucker for cars. I'm a car guy.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And honestly, big work machines are good for kids, like, all the Devastator stuff. I mean, now I will get that little Legends Devastator that combines and they transform, because that's going to be like $20 or $29.99, and it's going to come in a gift set box.
Yeah.
So that's something I might get, but for me to buy $20 of toys that aren't going to combine with Devastator, and if you listen to our supplemental that we just did on the movie, you'll understand why about Devastator, but yeah, and the Devastator for $100 that they're putting out is just...
Now, is that Hasbro or is that somebody else doing that?
Hasbro makes all their own action figures.
Okay. Well, I didn't know if it was somebody else doing that with Hasbro's permission or something, but yeah, I don't think anybody's going to buy that $100 Devastator just because it doesn't transform.
Well, I know people are going to buy it, but the people who are buying it are people like Frenzy Rumble. I don't want to leave anybody out, so I'm not going to start naming names, but guys on the boards and customizer boards like Sector70.com, Jaff's board, which he left when TF Master passed away a few years on us, and he took the site to be his own and called it Sector 70 because he couldn't keep the name because it was tfmaster.com. Obviously, you don't want to keep that name when someone's passed away. I do have two amazing customs from TF Master, and that's my Masterpiece Optimus Scourge, I call him. That's not the one with the sword. That was from Macross FA19, but I've already heard a couple of guys talking in Radicons about doing Devastator up, getting the big one, and actually making the wrecking balls work, and the how he's climbing up with the claws, shooting up.
Yeah. He's
going to make all that stuff work and make it, all like really, and then just auction it on eBay. That's how a lot of those guys work.
Oh, yeah. Well, I think we're going to end this episode. Just a couple of announcements for GeekCast Radio. Our ToyCast Revenge of the Fallen discussion will go up as well with this episode later on today, as well as ToonCast Episode 5 Thundercats, and I think Friday is TFG 121, and probably Saturday, either Friday or Saturday, it'll be GeekCast Radio Episode 4, the iPhone discussion. So that's what's coming up from us. I guess we're going to close this one out. So I have been TFG1 Mike with, and this is your cue to talk,
Optimus Scourge.
And you can follow us on Twitter. You can actually follow the show on Twitter. It's TF ToyCast. You can follow me by following TFG1 TFG1 Podcast. And what is your Twitter name?
It is Optimus_Scourge.
All right, and we are going to be left in the immortal words of Optimus Prime.
Autobots, transform and roll out.
See you later.